Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All righty, welcome into a Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Another fun show coming your way. We're going to talk some hoops with USF, David Zimroth, Coach Z. We're going to talk some Bolts beating the Bruins last night, which is always fun. We'll talk some football, Bucks, Super Bowl hangover, all that good stuff. Peter Blake joining me here this morning, as he does each and every Wednesday from the Sports Web. What's up, my friend? How are you?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Happy Hump Day, yes.
Got my Valentine's Day Dunk Kings special.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
You live the life right there, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Dunk Kings. I got my Dunk Kings sort of hat on.
I see that. You like that commercial, huh?
Oh, that was the best. They put out the full version of it. I saw on Twitter yesterday or today. Fantastic. You got to see the whole version. Ben Affleck is just, it's probably one of his greatest roles, I think, I would say, in his career. Screw the Oscars.
Besides Will Hunting and Matt Damon, who's also in it, and then Tom
terrible. Brady. Compared to this, with Brady, with Brady, Touchdown Tommy's in it. Tommy. I love that last line from J-Lo. Tommy, you can stay. And this one, there's so many good lines in the full one. I retweeted it today, so you got to go see it. Matt Damon's just the best. Remember I said I'd do anything for you? Okay, this is you're done. This is
it's not the first time that Matt has been in a musical role. Did you know, and I don't know if you ever saw this movie, Euro Trip. He was actually the lead singer. Scotty doesn't know. I don't know if you ever seen that. He's actually in that movie doing his best lead singer impression. So it's not the first time.
I did not see that, no.
Oh, that's a good, Scotty doesn't know, good movie there. Of course, he ends up being with the lead character's girl, and then it all goes from there.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course. It's Matt Damon. Come on now.
But I think this Dunk Kings with Damon and Affleck and Tom Touchdown Tommy and J-Lo, that was outstanding, no question. Any other commercials that you got? The Jesus commercial I thought was interesting. That was very powerful image, and ended up pissing everybody off.
Right.
Christians and non-Christians. That's you really struck a nerve when you piss off the Christians and the non-Christians. That was well done.
Was that the foot one?
Yeah, by the washing of the feet. Yeah, I was like, wow, those are powerful. I thought it was a cool spot, and everybody has to break it down and ruin it. I'm like, people washing other people's feet, man. It's not a bad thing, Be a servant leader, like Derek Brooks always says. What's wrong with that? People got hate on that too.
Rex Ryan approves of that.
He does. Absolutely, 100% does.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger one with the Neba. That one was.
Wait. Bucks Rays Bolt says, breaking news, the Rays just made a signing.
They did, yes.
What slapdick prospect did we add now?
It was Phil Matten, bullpen guy, 4-3, 3 ERA. That's become official, according to Mark Topkin of the.
That's actually a decent signing. They actually spent some money on that.
It is a decent signing, and it definitely strengthens the bullpen as. Of course, pitchers and catchers report today. How excited are you, Rays fans, about the Tampa Bay Rays, who have spent not much money at all?
$1.7 million. Now, I think this signing will bring them to about $8 million in off-season signings.
Wow.
Which is tip money for Juan Soto and everybody else in the division. But okay, it's not about money. It's not about money, right? It's about players.
Yeah.
The Yankees spend all they want, and the Rays still kick their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Would be nice to go out and spend a little money on a bopper every now and then. That would be nice.
Sure.
I'm sure they'll do something at the deadline, like they always say they're going to do and never do.
Yeah,
so,
we always get excited about that.
You always do. Many of you take the bait, and then I tell you you're fools. We're in it on Freddie Freeman, right?
Freddie Freeman.
We're in it for Juan Soto. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure.
right. Yeah.
Cody Bellinger. Ooh, yeah, right. Yeah.
Who was the guy last year that we were in on that supposedly
Freddie Freeman, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was the guy from that got nearly $1 billion from the Dodgers. We were in on
Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah,
Ohtani.
that was the best one.
Yeah,
that was
top
the best one.
prospects.
The Rays are one of the top to get Ohtani. I'm like, oh my god, this is the dumbest thing ever. No, I don't know why these reporters, they've been burned so many times by the Rays, telling them that they're in it and they never win it.
Right.
So I don't know why they just keep reporting this stuff that's handed to them, but whatever. It is what it is. No, I'm excited about this team though. I think continuity with the lineup, guys being here for a couple of years, 3 years now, we're starting to get a little bit of flow going with Josh. We're going to have the same exact outfield and same infield as last year for the most part. I mean, the starting lineup is not going to change much. This is a team that won 99 games last year and offensively was pretty good for a lot of it, but then of course the postseason comes and they all crap the bed. So yeah, Randy's back, Siri's back, Josh Lowe's back, Brandon Lau's back. Yikes. Yandy's back, Paredes is back, Taylor Walls, Wander Franco lost another attorney. I don't know what the hell's going on with Wander Franco. And you got some of the the new guys that are coming in, the Curtis Meads, the Junior Cabaneros. These guys are exciting young players. I'm excited to see the team play. Stop talking about all the other. Although we're going right into stadium season in April, right as we start the regular season. There'll be a big vote made in St. Petersburg. So I still think the sale of the team is very possible soon. Just like the Orioles were sold, maybe the Rays get sold here pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. So I would hope so. I have no intel on that. I know that they're still trying to buy the team, but obviously Stu's going to make it the hardest bargain they possibly could. But absolutely love it. Yeah, we did not mention it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to your sweethearts out there. The single people, not so much. And this is where we come in with a sports talk show to take your mind off of being single on a Valentine's Day. But
we'll just make you feel bad. But no, you shouldn't feel bad, right? Yeah. If you're single by choice. That's I was single by choice for a very long time, but when you find someone super special, I mean super special, that's it. You better hold on to her.
Yes,
and I have. I got her.
Close the deal, man. Close the deal. You got the coffee. Coffee's for closers, right?
Yeah. You just brought me this Dunk Kings coffee.
There you go. So you're a closer. I don't have a coffee. Why? Because I haven't closed anybody.
Yeah, you're not a close. Coffee's for closers. You're right. Absolutely. I got coffee
out there. Exactly.
Right.
But
it's already been a great Valentine's Day here at the JP studio. Absolutely. 100%.
I know you got some jewelry going on because you got golden diamonds.
I'll tell Ashley to stop in and say hello at some point.
Well, there you go.
She's running around here.
Going back to it, Baltimore was just sold. So what's the value? It's got to be more value for the Rays, right? You would think.
Well, yeah. If the Baltimore was sold for 1.7 and 1.7 billion, they're getting a huge renovation for their stadium. So it's kind of weird. I'm not exactly sure. It's all the devil's in the details. The new group must be paying for everything for the new stadium because 1.7 is a pretty, honestly, is a pretty cheap price. Mm-hmm. That's right about where Forbes, maybe just a little under or a little over where Forbes is usually when teams are sold about 20-25% short of their values that they put out there. At least the last couple sales. So 1.7 billion, I think the Rays are worth at least that. And depending on how he's going to work it with the stadium deal, the money that's already been taken for the local TV rights, I don't know what happens there. Some people have said with this bankruptcy, the way the bankruptcy has worked out with Diamond Sports and all these others that Stu might have to give back some of that money he got up front because it's a bankruptcy deal. I don't know. That's from an attorney. That would be funny. I'd be like, you got to pry that money from his cold dead hands.
Was that $500 million supposedly put into an offshore account or something? I mean,
he put it into, according to the lawsuit, he put it into another Rays account that only he controls.
He ain't putting it in this team. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back to it. I mean, it's not my money, but I'm so fascinated by some fans that I talk to online because I talk to a lot of them on social media, how they're just so about, well, the Rays didn't spend money. And can you imagine if they did? And we keep on going back to it. And it's the start of spring training and what could have been, and they still have a chance to spend some money, but they're never going to be one of those big spenders. But wouldn't it be interesting if they found out that all this money he put aside, he could have actually invested in the team, and he actually
what's to find out
of the poor?
What's to find out? That's the truth. And I saw the Times wrote yesterday, this small market Rays team.
It's every year it's the same old story. It's like a bad superhero movie.
Small market Rays team.
Right.
We're the 11th largest market. That is not small.
No.
That is not small. By any calculation, we are a big market team.
We're not talking about freaking Milwaukee here.
No, okay? This is not San Diego. We're not market 26.
And San Diego spends money.
We are media market 11.
Yeah.
And one of the fastest growing, soon to be number 10, soon to be number 9. I mean, we are one of the fastest growing markets. Now, the only part of Tampa Bay that's not growing is Pinellas County. It's the city of St. Petersburg. Sorry, the city of St. Petersburg actually had a decline in population at the last count. They're like the only major, because there's no room here. There's no room in St. Petersburg to grow. Duh, right? There's plenty of room on the east side of Hillsborough County to grow, and that's where all the growth is going towards Orlando. So that's where you would, forward thinking, build a stadium, not on the edge, on the western edge of the market. That would be a moronic thing to spend $1.2 billion of public money on. Nobody would do. Well, I guess they would do that.
Exactly. I want to go
super smart. Way to go, Pinellas County. That's where you want to put in this time where we need all the money we can for public services, right? Especially locally, because the federal money is going overseas to other people that need it way more than we do, clearly. We just spend $1.2 billion of public money on a baseball stadium that nobody's going to go to, even in the playoffs, because of the location. Great idea. Fantastic idea. In fact, I got an even better idea. Let's put some affordable housing around it, like immediately around it, because those people never go to baseball games. Like, they have no interest in going to baseball games.
Or they can't afford to go to a baseball game because why? They're living in affordable housing and the baseball tickets are too much. Duh.
But we're going to set aside some public. But wait, it gets better. We're going to set aside some public money to buy those tickets for them.
Whoa.
Oh, okay. So we're going to give them. They have no interest in going, really, most of them. But here's some free tickets. Oh, okay. Thanks. Can I sell them?
Right, exactly. They're going to sell them. They're going to sell them
so I can make my car payment.
It's like $1, right? It's like $1, man. Hey,
let's think it through. Let's think it through.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we want to put around the stadium? Affordable housing. Maybe take that chunk of money that you could use to sell to a developer. I don't know, for that portion of the land. And take that chunk of money and then go to another parcel in Pinellas County and build 4 times as many units? No. We have to have it next to the stadium because that makes it more politically palatable to get the whole package passed.
Sure.
It's just so stupid. It's just the way they go about doing all these things and jumping through hoops to make it politically palatable is just silly. If the idea is to have more affordable housing for people, then take revenue from that area and go buy another piece of land nearby at a much lower cost and build more units. That would be more serving. First of all, if you want to build affordable housing, don't spend $1.2 billion on a stadium that's nobody's going to use. That's the number. Take some of that money and go actually build affordable housing. Anybody think of that?
That'd be great.
Oh, we got to have our egos, man. We got to have a baseball team here on the edge of the market. I don't want to be the mayor that loses the Rays. We're not losing them. They're just going to the other side of the bay where they're supposed to be. You're not losing anything. Your constituents can still drive to a Rays game, but you can, members of the board and the mayor can use that money in a much more positive way for your constituents than building a baseball stadium in a failed location.
Wow.
Right. See what you did to me?
Yeah.
Blake, you got me off on this tangent.
They're more concerned about not only building a baseball stadium in St. Pete, but also changing it to the St. Pete Rays because Nana Boo Boo.
Yeah, we're paying for it.
I mean, that's where you're going. That's where you're going. And I didn't want to get you off on that tangent, but that's how we feel about this. I mean, I'm kind of biased because I'm an admin of I Love St. Pete, which, by the way, 160,000 following on Facebook.
Nice.
I love St. Pete. I love it. I love everything about it, but I'm just not sure if it works out in that location. But, to be fair, downtown St. Pete is growing to a certain degree. Is that the answer? I think
it?
I don't know.
Because the data tells us otherwise.
Well, Tampa has not stepped up. So that's what it comes down to. What kind of deal? And it's always about the best deal for this ownership and Stu. Let's face it.
I think Tampa has stepped up. They've refused to give Stu Sternberger a blank check.
Boom.
Like Pinellas has.
And
Pinellas and City of St. Petersburg basically gave him a blank check. Yes, he's going to have to put some money in, but he gets so many other tax breaks in this deal and discounts on land that he's going to make that money back from the developer.
Yeah.
Which the city could have gotten from a developer. So you gave him a discount to buy the land. If you just would have, done what Kreisman was going to do and actually just build upon that land, you'd get much better bang for your buck from a public standpoint, like much better, instead of gifting all this money to the Heinz Corporation and the Rays. I mean, in the end, that's just what this is. This is a huge public money giveaway. So the mayor can say he didn't, quote, lose the Rays, and they have a major league team that plays in St. Petersburg, which you don't need, by the way. You're already a major league city. You have the Grand Prix. You have the PGA Tours in Pinellas County, not obviously in downtown St. Pete. You have an incredible downtown and the beaches, the greatest beaches in the world for tourism. You don't need a baseball stadium. You just don't. You don't. The people that live there don't go to the games. So I don't know how it's
well, for me, it comes down to
the constituents.
Is it because of the location, or is it because of the ownership and not doing enough? And I get it, they win, but have they won a World Series? No. Out of those years that we always talk about this team spending less money than anybody else, and you win the AL East, if some of those years you invest.
You had a Charlie Morton.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You gave away, right?
You gave away. You've given away fan favorites, so that's the reason why, basically this fan base is eroded. So I don't necessarily think it's just about location. Mm-mm. I feel like if you had a Jeff Vinnick in there, location or not, you would have no trouble with selling out because you're committed to it. Because the blueprint is out there with the Lightning and the Bucks, and it just has
and all the new stadiums that have been built, the baseball stadiums that have been built in certain areas. Right. And those areas have exploded, the Braves Stadium, the Astros Stadium, the National Stadium, all of these stadiums that have been built in blighted areas, Coors Field back in the day, and the real estate has developed around them. It could become some of the most desirable real estate. That's real positive effect in and this is kind of the opposite of what you're doing in St. Pete. That area is already developed. They already have a great development there. It's not like you're bringing something to a part of town that is blighted. You actually need more room to grow with just organic growth of bars and restaurants and everything else, and condominiums and maybe a convention center, that you could use or a big concert hall, a big amphitheater. I know they're building one, but not a huge one, sure. Not something that would host major concerts. So I think they've, from a constituent standpoint, if I were, constituent of St. Pete Pinellas, I would not want to be spending public money on this. It's silly. It's stupid. There's so much better that they nourish the beaches, the cable car over to Clearwater, all these other things that actually bring in tourists from a much bigger than a cruise port. A cruise port would be fantastic because 60-70% of these huge ships now cannot come under the Sunshine Skyway. So if you built a cruise port out there, that would bring in how many more hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people a year in real tourist dollars. You're not bringing in millions of people. Millions of people are not coming to St. Petersburg for baseball. You could probably, for people that actually book a trip to come to St. Petersburg and stay at the beaches, all right, where real tourism dollars, why these tourism dollars are supposed to go, right? How many of those, you got 1 million, 6 in attendance for a total season? How many of those people are really flying in? Maybe a couple 100,000 at most. At most, you do that in a month at a convention center. Convention center, you do that in 2 weeks with a cruise port. So, just from a heads and beds perspective, A baseball stadium is not a great expenditure of money. Now, does it bring more money from around the area? Sure. But they're not staying overnight. They're putting their heads down in the bed.
Hmm.
They're not, staying here for a week and new money coming in. That's money that's coming from, that's just being redistributed in the county for the most part,
Right.
or Hillsborough County. You can get some of that money, but yeah, just from a political standpoint, I don't know. And I think commissioners, as more you hear them talking and more stories that are done, you hear them having much more reservation as they look at the actual expenditures, and they're gonna show. And if the Times were being honest about this, that this is a horrible deal for the Pac. And I will give the Times credit. A few of their last few stories have been very pointed in terms of the comments from the commissioners. They've done a really good job, I think, of showing that there are a lot of, at least from the commissioners' quotes anyway, that there are some very big issues financially with this stadium deal. So I still think it's very much up in the air. It's not a done deal by any sort of stretch of the imagination. So we'll see. All right, let's move on to a team that really wants to win.
Yeah.
And that would be your Tampa Bay Bolts, your Tampa Bay Lightning. Huge win last night over the Bruins, 3-2. They get a goal from Chernak that just kind of trickled over the line. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The guy one kind of got through Allmark. Great shot by Chernak. I think was it maybe Michigan or Linelli or someone last night on the broadcast saying that the Bolts are 17-3 when their defensemen score. It's something like that. Like, it's a huge, huge number.
Wow.
So when the defense scores, it's a huge help. And I thought they were jumping up in the play last night a lot. And Vassy was fantastic. 36 shots. Rob Marchand in overtime and late in the game to keep it at 2-2 and get it to overtime. I thought Vassy is really, really starting to play tremendous hockey. And that's what we saw last night. That's been the formula for the Lightning in winning cups. Get a lead, protect that lead, leave it to Vassy, make some great saves. And, they could have played better last night. I think they gave up 36 shots on goal, which for Boston actually is not a lot. I mean, they're a great team. That's why they have the best record in the league. But to go in there, and I know they've been on a bit of a cold streak. They were 1-4 heading into this game. But still, you go into Boston with that rivalry and you get that W, you get 2 points. That's huge for the Lightning, especially with the 2 they dropped in New York and the way they played them. To come back with 2 points against Columbus, now 2 points against Boston on their ice, and now you come home with Colorado Thursday night. It's a tough schedule. You got the Panthers coming in. So, this is it. This is crunch time for the Lightning. Every game counts. Every 2 points is huge. And last night, Braden Point was the only one to score in the shootout. So, kudos to the Lightning. A fantastic performance last night. And I think I've always said this: their best hockey is yet to come. I think they're going to build and get better and get better and get better. Oh, by the way, the Kucherov last night, leading scorer in the league.
Yeah,
that shot from that angle. I mean,
ridiculous. Top shelf.
Insane.
Beautiful, and he nearly scored in the first period there on the breakaway, if not for Allmark. And look,
that was a great save.
Credit is due. He had made some great saves to keep Boston in that game last night.
He did. Yeah.
It goes back to what you said, right? You get a lead, and you depend on your playmakers. You depend on your Kucherovs. You depend on your Stamkos, and of course, you depend on your Braden Points. And Point comes up big last night. And once again, Kucherov, say whatever you want to. And I don't know if we talked about this or not when it came to the All-Star game, because he basically went heel and everybody was going crazy saying, he should have taken this seriously. Guys, it's an exhibition. But with that being said, it just adds more fuel to that fire that he should be the MVP, that he's not being recognized by the national media. Tampa Bay sports in general is never recognized by national media. And Kucherov should be. He's playing amazing right now. He's playing MVP hockey. And once again, last night, going back to it, that shot, top shelf, beautiful.
Yeah, well, he should be the MVP in my opinion. Obviously, the writers that write for this are not, Tampa Bay fans. They always, those are, the kind of the northern, that cabal up there in Toronto. They're never going to be. They just looking for reasons to hate Kucherov, and he gave them another one. I'm not saying what he did was bad. I'm just saying he gave them more fodder to keep, when it comes down to maybe a few points here or there for the MVP race, McKinnon's going to get all those votes over. So what? He doesn't, I don't think Kucherov cares about that. All he cares about is winning cups. And that's what's most important to him. So whatever. We could talk about it in the media. I can tell you this. It doesn't bother Kuch one iota. He don't give a rat's ass. All he wants to do is win. You can keep your MVPs. Anything that's voted for, you can keep. That's all number one bullspit to him, right? It's the rest. The only thing that matters is winning cups. So I'm fine with it. I'm here for it. So good for him. But I just like the way this Lightning team has played going into the All-Star break. I mean, coming out, they had a 10-day break, and then you're back on the ice. You look good early on against the Rangers, and then it just, you kind of lose your legs. And then the second back-to-back Islanders game, they were just awful. But come back and do what you got to do against Columbus. And then last night was the big win. Kind of gets them back on track. They're still in the playoff hunt, in a playoff spot, so they're still good there. And their schedule does ease up towards the end of the season. So they got their rest over the All-Star break. I think that's going to help them in the long run. And they played well last night. Poor Brad Marchand. He had a couple of his 1,000th game. Could have been a storybook night for him, but
rat face face licker. He deserves it. Definitely deserves. Rat face deserves everything he got last night by getting shut out by, of course, Vasilevsky. But
he got a couple assists, but no goals. Sorry.
Yeah. What about Sergachev? How much of a loss is that? And do you think the Lightning can recover for that? Do they make some moves? Because there's been some rumors out there that they may be active. Because, they're not the Rays. Even though they don't have that much money, they're still willing to make moves out there. So can the Lightning make some moves on that defensive blue line?
I don't think there's any question about it, because Sergei's cap number, $8.6 million, now goes on long-term IR. So that's money that Brisebois can go out and use, and he will use it. What's going to be interesting to see is what he trades. They don't have a lot of assets. They've given away most of their first-round picks. But they do have some defensemen that have come up and really played well, and I think that's why Brisebois wanted to bring him up. So at the trade deadline, the other teams have some tape on him, and all these kids came up and played well. So I think they've all increased their value in terms of trade value. I think anybody that's looking for a young defenseman, which are really hard to find, I think they'll look at the Lightning and say, they've got a few guys over there, Crozier, Lilleberg, although I don't want to lose Lilleberg. They've got some guys over there that can play at this NHL level and should get better. So I think that's a great move by Brisebois to bring them up to increase their trade value. Now he's got some chips to work with to go get, a defense, a veteran defenseman that can bring a little fire and a little, toughness to that back line. Maybe even a scorer, a Tarasenko type, who mentioned, I think Nick mentioned that on Monday. So there's some options now. He's got some room to work with. And so, look, Sergei was having a tough year. He was having a tough year, and we wish him the best. And Bolts Nation is behind you, buddy. We can't wait till you get back. But he, and he did a lot. He was on the penalty kill. He was on the power play. Your top defensive pair, top four defensemen. So he means a lot to this team, and they need him moving forward. But let's just be honest. He was having a tough season for whatever reason. Now you can bring somebody in that's having a better season, can give you a little bit more, jam on that back line, and you can also bring in a little scoring touch, maybe for, a bottom six. You're hopefully a better team. You're hopefully a better team moving forward, and other teams are going to make moves. Don't think nobody else is going to stand pat, not especially the contenders. So you gotta make moves. And Brisebois has, other than his first year, he's shown the willingness to make big moves. So I think something big is coming. I really do. I think something big is coming. I don't know when, but watch out.
Yeah,
watch
the
out.
rumor is Noah, and I hope I pronounced this man's name right. Hannafin, 27 top trade target from Calgary. 53 games this season, 9 goals, 29 points, plus 10 ratings. So there you go. That's one of the names that's been mentioned out there for the Lightning to make a deal for. And of course, he's one of the top trade targets. So the Lightning will have competition. But as you talk about it, this Lightning organization, I don't know. It's like Jason Light, right? And the brain trust over there at $1. They know what they're doing. They know how to make it happen and make it work and make the right moves at the right time. And that's the reason why they've been so successful the last 5 to 10 years.
Yep, absolutely. You nailed it. All right, let's listen to John Cooper post game after the big 3-2 win at Boston, proving once again that Boston is still our bitch.
Road trip, 4 points in 4 games. Did you sense in a good way that element of desperation amongst your team?
Like, we played hard tonight. Actually, there's a lot of good things we did tonight. We had the 2-0 lead, and you didn't expect to hold on to that lead, and unfortunately we let it slip away. But the guys dug in. But it was tough in the third. We took 3 minors, and so we just couldn't really get anything going. But you got to tip your hat to the penalty kill. They were huge for us tonight. And then the big cat was the big cat. He was he saved our skin a couple times, especially in overtime there. But like I said, go on the road and be able to lead for yourself. We did a lot of good things to get to that point. And, like I said, unfortunately, took some penalties. We had to hang on there, but guys got it went out.
You talk about those penalties. You never want to take them, but what was the difference? Why were you guys so successful on the kill?
Yeah, well, you ultimately need saves, and the goalie made the saves, but we kept them out the outside. They missed a couple shots. They're an extremely dangerous team, and so you hope that there was probably a little frustration on their end, but it was like I said, guys were in lanes, and we weren't giving them extra opportunities. Got our clears when we needed to, and then Vass made the saves we needed.
You guys have had some great battles versus Boston over the years. This kind of edge of your seat type games. What are they like for you on the bench to be a part of those?
Well, it's first of all, just being in an Original Six city. It's just a pleasure to be able to coach. The environment's different. The fans are extremely educated, and they're passionate, and they're into it. And like I said, this is a team we've played in the playoffs before. We've some of my most memorable games, whether what side of the ledger we were on, have been against the Bruins. And it seems like I've been in the league for a decade here, but there's a bunch of guys in their team that I've seen over the years, and we've had this core group. But it's playing the Bruins it's a ton of fun, and it's going to be something's going to happen in the game, and it always does. And pretty fitting this one went to a shootout. Good.
All right, so there you go.
Yep. A lot of things there for Coop. Talking about how hard they defended last night, I think is important. A lot of different things that they did last night. They did right, and you're starting. What you're not seeing is a lot of careless passes that end up in the back of your net, like we saw in a lot of the first games of this year. So they're playing their best hockey of the year right now. I only think it's going to get better. I think Brisebois is going to make some major moves that will make this team better. So a lot to come. I mean, yes, baseball season is starting, but now it's hockey season. It's really hockey season. Football is over. The Lightning take center stage for the next few months with the Rays just behind them on the back burner, but still there. They're on the stove. It's hot stove time. But this is where the Lightning, the winning franchise, the championship franchise, takes first place, especially on this show. But we'll be covering your Rays, and we have plenty of Rays talk coming your way. And Coach Z is going to come on at 11 o'clock today, and we're going to talk basketball. USF has a huge weekend coming up. FAU coming to town from the Final Four, so this is going to be huge.
Will you be there? That's what I want to know, because I know I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with the Greek, of course. Harry, the Greek of the Sports Web, will be out there covering it. I was told last night we can't live stream the press conference, so sorry, kids, we can't do that, but we'll be out there asking questions, covering it, maybe giving a post-game show. And exciting times right now for the USF Bulls. My thing is, how do you not look ahead to that big game on Sunday, because you've got a god-awful team in Tulsa coming in, which, the Golden Hurricanes, not so golden this year.
When's that? Is that game tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight, yeah.
Okay, so they got Tulsa home and then FAU.
Yeah.
On
if you
Sunday.
want to go out on Valentine's Day, you want to take somebody for
there you go.
A Valentine's Day date, you go to the Yingling Center and and see just a crowd that was just amazing against Charlotte. Got a chance to go out there and watch that. And this team, listen, they're probably going to get down. Hopefully they don't get down in this game, but this is what they are. This is their makeup. They get down early, and then they come storming back. Now, I was talking to one of our friends of the show, Mr. TJ Reeves, and asking him, can they sustain this? And he said, he's kind of worried about that style of play. Can that, translate over if you do make it into the big dance, which again, you have some things to decide here with your conference championships and conference tournament. But if you can get to the big dance, can you continue to play that way and expend so much energy going forward? I'm not sure, but everybody's ruled out this Bulls team all year long, and they continue just to, defy the odds and just do what they continue to do, which is
the comeback kids, man.
Cardiac kids. Yeah.
Love it. All right, we'll take our first break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little baseball with on the field with the Rays. As I mentioned, we'll be talking some basketball. Still some Super Bowl hangover to get to as well, so lots more coming your way here. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. If you've been involved in an accident, your car has been totaled, you have an issue with an insurance company, any legal matters whatsoever, Scott Jeeves is the man, and his team of attorneys there will represent you vigorously. So give them a call. Just contact them through the website, jeeveslawgroup.com. It's a free case evaluation, free call. Just tell them what's going on with you, and they'll tell you if they have a case. We had Scott Jeeves on the program last week talking about the FSU legal situation. It was great. So give them a call over there at the Jeeves Law Group. Back in 3. JP here from my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Valentine's Day, Hump Day and Valentine's Day.
Yeah, how about that?
How convenient. How convenient. Yes, yeah. Yeah. So listen, if you guys still haven't bought anything, there's time. There's time. The Golden Diamond Source is open right now. They got their Valentine's Day sale going on. Huge selection. You just go in there, drop some cash or credit card, whatever you need. You can get a gift card. So then your girl gets to come back and shop herself, which she loves. They love that. They love the shopping experience. So gift cards are good. Gift cards are good in that way. You can get away with one for a specific store. That means you actually went out and got it. You didn't do, you went out and did something. You got it, and they made it nice for you. Got a nice little basket, a little bag that looks nice. So that's easy. Now, or you can go in, lay down your credit card, say, I'm going to spend $500, $100, $50, whatever it is. Say, this is my budget. What can I get for my girl? And they'll bring you some really, really nice stuff, and they'll make you feel great about it. Be super easy, whatever your budget, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to have $10,000 to go into the Golden Diamond Store. $100, $50, $25. I don't know if they have anything with 25, but maybe.
I don't think there's anything 25 in there.
Yeah, there probably is. You'd probably be surprised. But yeah, bring 50 at least. She's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
I know times are tough. But yeah, go on in there. Tell them JP sent you. Great staff. They'll make it super easy for you. The parking's easy. It's not like going to the mall. You have to do that shenanigans. Right there, you park right there. You walk in, you get, boom, you're out. Like literally could do it in 10 minutes. So get on over to the Golden Diamond Source. And of course, it is a local company. Julie and Steve Weintraub, the great benefactors there. We want to keep everything local. So on this Valentine's Day, if you still haven't got anything, you knucklehead, it's the Golden Diamond Source. It's got your back. They've got your back. You still have time.
There you go. You got it. I was talking to a friend yesterday. She's been with this guy for about 4 months, and she was kind of upset because the guy got her Bath and Body Works. I would say it's the thought that counts.
Gift card?
Well, huh?
Gift card or actual basket?
I guess like a basket. But I would say it's the thought that counts. But then again,
Bath and Body Works, that's great place. I mean, everything smells so good in that place.
He felt
what did she take it like, oh, I smell? He says I smell?
She took it like the guy wasn't spending enough money on her. And then on top of it, the guy actually did not take her out for her birthday. So I was like, okay. Well,
okay, that's
they've only been together for 4 months. I don't think she expects like, $10,000 in jewelry. But
you got to take guys.
Bath and Body Works, you got to do better than that. Now, come on.
Yeah, I would, I would definitely do better than the Bath and Body Works. But listen, if a lot of people don't have money, it's not the amount of money; it's the effort that you put into it. Did you write a card? Did you write something specific? Not just Happy Valentine's Day, love you. Like write some stuff. Like I had my stepkids. I said, don't just say. Write down exactly why you love your mom for all the stuff she does for you.
Yeah,
be specific. Make an effort. Right? Just make it. So all they want to see is an effort. It's not about honestly, for some women, it is about the amount of money, unfortunately.
I gotta go with this.
If that's what that woman's about, then she ain't for you.
I don't think she's about that. I think she's more about effort. But look at this. Maybe he can use the bath to wash his hands of her. Damn. That's cold, Lonnie. What?
Yeah. Yeah, but he's kind of spot on. Look, I'll say this: if he didn't take her out for her birthday, then he screwed up.
Right.
So it's not the Bath and Body Works thing that's got me hung up. That's what's got me hung up. And look, I know it's expensive to take him out for Valentine's Day. You can make something at home, but just put some effort into it. Like put on a shirt that doesn't have a stain on it. Cook something yourself. And you don't even have to cook it yourself anymore. Everything's pre-prepared. You can go get freaking the most unbelievable dinner already pre-cooked for you at 1,000 different places. Come home, plate it yourself, light a few candles, write a romantic card. Doesn't cost a ton of money. I'm telling you, she'll probably be way more. As long as you put the kids away, get the kids the hell out of the house, because that's what they want more than anything. If you got kids, get the kids the hell out of. They need a break from the kids. That's what you want to. That's always a good move. So that's all you got to do. Show some effort. It's not always about money. And if it is about money, if you get a sense from your girl that's, she's counting the dollars, like how much did it cost, then you bath and body wash your hands of hers. Yeah. Scrub them hands. Bye-bye.
Well, I got something for you. I got a phone number, 727-255.
There you go.
0391. It's 727-255-0391 in the JP Peterson Show. A gift that continues to give here. There
All right. Had a comment here that I wanted to get to that I actually even responded to. Hello.
It's not responding to you?
Oh, no. Here we go. So okay. Mike Stover said, because I said, the Rays baseball stadium needs to be over in Hillsborough County. He said, so Tampa has all 3 sports teams and St. Pete has Jack. We don't say that on the air anymore because we're on the radio. She said shiz. No, they don't. This is what it is. Think of it in a different way. Tampa Bay region has 3 stadiums in the middle of the market where they should be. And St. Pete has a new convention center, state of the art, to draw millions of people, a new cruise port, state of the art, to draw millions of people, more affordable housing for the people that actually want to live in St. Petersburg and have a house that doesn't cost $1 gazillion. So much more you could do with $1.5 billion of public money than build a state baseball stadium in a failed location. That's what I don't understand about the St. Pete people who, for the most part, don't go to the games. You St. people, I hate even, labeling people because we're all part of the Tampa Bay region, right? It's not St. Pete has this, Tampa has this, and everything. It's St. Pete has the best downtown in all of Tampa Bay with the best restaurants and bars and, little music places in all of Tampa Bay. Best to me, downtown St. Pete, if you're going to go out for the night and you want to go bar hopping, best place to go. Better than Ybor, better than Clearwater, better than, I don't know what's in Brandon, better than downtown Tampa. That's for sure. 10 times better than downtown Tampa, better than West, best area in Tampa Bay to go out for eclectic meals and different stuff. And like I said, a convention center would be huge there. So many things you could do with that money. But St. Pete doesn't need a baseball stadium. And frankly, the constituents don't want it. If it was put to a vote, it would fail miserably. I wish someone, a journalist outlet that has lots of money would commission a poll to see if the people of Pinellas really want it.
It would be nice to hear from the people there, but I think there's a lot of people also concerned that once you get this new stadium that's going to be in St. Pete, will turn out to be a situation like it was in Miami, where you're always told, hey, if we get a new stadium, we'll be more competitive. And I go back to the money aspect. We'll spend more money. We'll keep our superstars. We'll keep our fan favorites. And then what do the Marlins do when they get the new stadium? Absolutely jack shiz. After that. In fact, they've become what? Have they even competed for a division title? Have they signed?
They've been to the playoffs a couple times, but they're not spending a ton of money because nobody goes to the games.
Right.
They built it in a failed location. They put one failed location after another failed location and spent tons of money doing it, over $2 billion with all the stupid interest they're going to have to pay on that. Yeah. So, and we're going to make the same mistake, which is just flat out stupidity. But that's, again, this isn't the voters that are choosing this. So anyway, we talked about that. I want to get to on the field. So Cash and Neander talked yesterday, and they're very pleased with the group that they have. And look, if you win 99 games, I'm not saying I'm definitely saying you could go out and get a bopper and put some, especially in the DH spot, get somebody in the middle of that lineup that can hit 40 bombs. I mean, love you, Harold Ramirez, but I don't see him hitting 40 bombs.
Ramirez.
You need some pop. So I would definitely have spent money there. Definitely spent some money on starting pitching, especially with no Shane, no Springs, no Rask to start the season. But they didn't do any of that. They just signed a reliever. But Matone, I think his name is.
Yeah, Matone. Yeah.
Who's could definitely bolster the bullpen. They kept the guy from Yamamoto, I believe his name is, from Japan. I think he's going to be a decent starter for them. So we'll see how it goes. I think the first half of the season will be very interesting, especially with the beefed up AL East around you. Everybody went out and made moves, even Baltimore. So you're going to an extremely competitive division. And will they make moves at the break? They will get Springs back, hopefully get Rasmussen back. So they'll get some pitching help back. But will they have enough offense? Because their postseason offense has been the big, huge problem. So to me, you still got to go out and get the freaking get the big bopper in the middle of that lineup. Pay some money.
Yeah, well, it's going to come down to the young guys. What can they do? Can they duplicate that success? Can a Josh Lowe do what he did? Can a Brandon Lau come out of it? We know what he can do when he gets hot. Can he stay healthy? Can he come off of that injury? What about your pitching staff with McClanahan and Springs? And what is that pitching staff going to look like? Are you good there? Your bullpen, you added to it? I mean, the regular season, how many did they win last year? And then you get to the postseason. And I think that's what people are going to be looking at. And this is what you're going to be encountering all year long. Yeah, they're going to be able to score plenty of runs during the regular season, but when they get to that postseason, can they overcome that? That's what people are going to be looking at. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of pessimism going into this season, no matter what the Rays do, division-wise with, offense or pitching. People are going to say, well, until they get to the postseason and until they put it together, it's not going to matter, which is going to be disappointing because they most likely are going to have, I think they're going to have somewhat of a good season, right? They've been able to be competitive, more than competitive. I just wish, again, we could keep on going back to it, that you did have that big bopper, but it doesn't seem like it's coming. It's coming either from, this team or it's coming from minor leagues. Caminero, is that the next superstar that we say, okay, here's a guy that's going to take that next step? Is it too soon? I mean, you're depending on these young guys, and at some point, it has worked out throughout the years, but at some point, does this come back to bite you? That's what I'm kind of looking at.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting start to the season to see how this team plays, but I expect them to be very competitive. I do. It's just, again, like you said, what happens in the playoffs. All right, if you guys have some questions about the Rays, dump them in the comment section there. If you see one, Peter, pop it up. Yeah. I want to get to a couple other things. Last night, Shaquille O'Neal got his jersey retired, first one ever retired by the Magic, as the number 32 went up into the rafters, and then the Magic got beat by Oklahoma City 127-113. But, Shaq has always had this kind of love-hate relationship with Orlando, so I think maybe last night there was some fences have been mended, so to speak, and, now Shaq is back in the full good graces of Orlando and vice versa.
Worst move.
Should be.
Worst free agency move of all time, in my opinion, because you look at it, what could have been. You remember being an Orlando Magic fan. I think everybody was back then. You had Pete Hardaway, you had Shaq, you had this team
Dennis
built.
Scott, Nick Anderson, they were all there.
Right. You're only 3 free throws away in game one against the Houston Rockets from winning that game. And look, after that, you had no opportunity to win Hakeem Olajuwon. But what could have been, JP, if you keep Shaq in the fold? Instead, you let him go out into free agency, and it comes back to the newspaper. The Orlando Sentinel did a poll of how many people wanted to bring him back or how many fans wanted to bring him back, and they were against bringing him back. And remember, Shaq said it was a small pond. He eventually goes to the Lakers. You get Kobe Bryant, and the rest is history. But you already had Kobe Bryant before Kobe Bryant. You had Penny Hardaway, who was in the prime of his career with Shaq. And I just remember this because my dad, a big-time sports fan, after Shaq left for Orlando, he said, I will never turn on an NBA game after that. And he never turned on an NBA game because we used to watch the Magic all the time. Never turned on a game after that. He was still heartbroken.
Humongous blunder. Blunder. No question about it.
Yep.
And Shaq has had his number retired in L.A., number 34 was retired in LA, and number 32 retired at the Miami Heat. So the third player to have jersey retired by 3 franchises. The other 2?
Okay. What was it now? Go ahead.
Three players have had their jersey retired by 3 different franchises. So Shaq by the Lakers, the Heat, and now the Magic.
Okay.
There were 2 other guys. Old school, obviously.
Was it Jordan for the Bulls and the Wizards?
Nope, that would only be 2.
2,
and the White Sox did not retire his number. The Sarasota White Sox did not retire, or maybe they did.
Retired his number.
Wilt Chamberlain
Right.
and Pistol Pete Maravich. Chamberlain retired by the 76ers, the Golden State Warriors,
Okay.
and the Lakers, and Maravich by the Hawks, the Utah Jazz, and the New Orleans Pelicans.
Wow.
Of course, he never played for the Pelicans, but they were the New Orleans Jazz when he played there. So yeah, there you go. Little trivia here on Hump Day.
Yes, a Hump Day.
Valentine's Day. There you go. And I'll be actually going to the Magic game tonight.
Oh, will you now?
I'm taking my 11 and under basketball team, YMCA, which of course I am the Bobby Knight of the YMCA. So yeah, so I'm taking my Cats over. Had practice yesterday.
Right. Did you throw a chair yet? Have you thrown a chair? Have you given them the Peter Blake speech of write it down? Right. You better write this down right now. If you don't write this down.
Well, we don't have, pens and paper on the court. So, but I have issues with them listening. There's no question about that. Like yesterday, I had to stop practice 3 times to tell the kids stop grab assing around. Stop grab assing around. And had I been close to a chair, I would have thrown one. I would have thrown one yesterday. No question about it. Wow. I was in chair throwing mode. No question about it. Yeah, because you're trying to teach these kids something, and like they're all, you're talking to 2 of you, just blow the whistle. All right, this is what you're doing wrong, right? And then the six guys over in the corner are jumping all over each other, flopping on the ground, acting like idiots. I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? It's basketball practice. So it's hard to keep, it's hard to keep these kids' attention, man. It's really, really difficult. He's 11-year-old.
You got these
11, 10, and 9.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You got all these videos out there. We sound like
and I love my kids, man. I love they're so cute. They're so wonderful. They all have their personalities. I just love them all. They're like, I've got one kid. I won't put any names out there because who knows. But I got one kid who's just really new at basketball. Really new. And when he first came, he could barely dribble. Now he's going up and down the floor dribbling like a maniac. He's working at home. I'm showing him technique while we have him, and then I say work on your way, and then he comes back and he's a lot better. And yesterday he's like really, and you see I'm teaching the kids how to shoot correctly, not with 2 hands. The granny, whatever the heck they're doing, and then you teach them the right way, elbow in, follow through, and you come back the next day and they're doing it right, and they're making 10 shots out of 15. I'm like, wow.
Fundamentals.
Yeah. And it really is very rewarding to see them get better. But I'm like, man, you guys are exhausting.
Well,
I'm like, shut up.
I'm surprised that you haven't had to, deal with all the kids wanting to be like Stephon Curry, right? Steph Curry.
We put
all the time.
We put a kibosh on that.
Yeah.
I'm like, we did something, and I said, all right, everybody take a 3. We had a line, everybody take a 3. I said, I'm going to decide who can take 3s in the game and who can't. There are 2 guys on my team that are allowed to shoot 3s. Nobody else. Like, you can't make them, you ain't shooting them. That's simple as that. If you can't make the shot, you're not shooting them. And I said, well, I said, well, work on it. You come and show me that you can make 1 out of 10, I'll let you shoot it. But other than that, no, you got no shot. So if you don't have a shot, you can't shoot a 3. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Couple other quick notes from our great commentors.
Well, we got lots of comments, but I'm going to ask you really quick. Super Bowl 58. I thought the majority of the game, besides the halftime show, which I thought was good, there were times where you couldn't hear Usher sing because he was dancing so much. The majority of the time, either I'm working too much or it was boring to me because I was falling asleep the majority of the time. And I thought it really picked up in those later quarters, the third, especially in the fourth overtime. I thought it was a largely slow game. And, what does it say about Kyle Shanahan? Once again, having a double-digit lead, 0-3 in Super Bowls, JP. This is it seems like it's a thing. It seems like it's a thing. You give credit.
We joked about it yesterday, the 3 blunders of Shanahan. I was going to write a song. So I did. I wrote a song.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote a song about the 3 blunders of Shanahan. It's not ready. It's not ready for production yet, but we're still working on it. But yeah, the first blunder is not using your timeouts at the half to get an extra possession. That's it. That's a critical. How many? That's Todd Bowles-esque. The coach can create a turnover, an extra possession. You don't do it, you're a moron. It's just simple as that. It's absolute coaching malfeasance, in my opinion, when you don't do that. Number two, you can't the overtime coin toss. It's just the dumbest thing ever. And I said it right then and there. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And then on Monday, I said, this is the story. This should be the enduring story of this. Number one, Pat Mahomes is the greatest quarterback of all time. We already knew that. Okay, great. We knew that.
Sure.
Greatest comeback quarterback in the conversation with Tom Brady. All right, we'll do that. But you cannot give them that strategic advantage of knowing when to use fourth down, which is exactly what you do when you don't give them the ball. I mean, they would have had to punt. And people are telling me, they would have gone for it on 4th and 1 on their own 34-yard line. The Chiefs would have. No way. No way. If Andy Reid would have gone for it on 3rd and 4, 4th and 1 from their own 34 in overtime, and whether he made it or not, that would be coaching malfeasance, because you're literally putting the game on the line. You have the better quarterback. You have the better defense at the time, a fresher defense. You extend the game, you have a better chance of winning it. So, your chances of making that on 4th and 1, I don't know, what are they, 50%? As opposed to, I think your chance of winning, of extending the game with your defense are way better. Now I know all they need is a field goal. I get it after that, but you have to punt in that situation. You got to punt. Because they don't have 4 downs after that, because it's still a game. But to give Mahomes the strategic advantage of knowing he has 4 downs to go the length of the field, it's impossible to stop him. It's hard enough to stop him with 3. With 4 downs, and he knows he has 4 downs, it's next to impossible. And even if then you're betting you're going to get a touchdown. You're going to march down and get a touchdown. Well, you haven't done a lot of that against this Chiefs defense so far. And not a lot of teams in the playoffs with unbelievable offenses. All the great offenses they faced, the Bills, the Ravens, all of them. The Chiefs defense gave up 16 points a game. You're going against one of the best defenses, and you're counting on scoring a touchdown. It makes no, even though the gobbledygook he said yesterday about, we wanted the 3rd possession. That's just, it's silly. You got to have the advantage of knowing whether to go for it on 4th down. And it actually came into play. You stopped them. You got them to a 4th and 1. They would have had to punt, but they knew they had to go for it. That takes all the pressure off. You don't even have to make a decision. It's just so much easier. It's such a huge. So that was number 2. And then number 3, when you take the ball, you get down there and it's 4th and 4, and you should have scored on 3rd down. You had a great play. You just forgot to block the most important defender. Didn't even touch him in Chris Jones. But come back and you got to go for it there. You have to go score it. You can't give the ball to Mahomes, basically, and all he needs is a field goal at that point. You can't do that. And even if you don't make it right there, you're leaving them at the 5-yard line. Which is, none of it made any sense. None of it made any sense. And again, when you're a coach and these things are in your grasp, you can't F them up. You can't. When players make mistakes, those are mistakes of competition. You have no competition in making these decisions. These are easy, no-brainer decisions. And if you don't make them, you handicap your football team tremendously. So as a coach, you're supposed to help your team win, not hurt your team's chances, which is what he did.
And by the way, there was players actually admitting that they didn't know the overtime rules. I mean, how does that happen? How do you not coach for every situation? That is what football is all about, situational football, especially in overtime. And you have players that are actually coming out saying they didn't know the rules of overtime. How does that work? That's bad coaching.
Yeah, it's bad coaching. That's also bad playing.
Yeah.
You're a freaking professional football player. Know the rules.
Yeah.
Know the rules. Write it down. It's written down for you. Like, there's not a lot on your plate as a football player except learn the rules, take care of your body and play hard, right? Learn the plays. Yeah, you should know the rules. And the coaches, but yes, as a coaching staff, you should make sure that your players know the rules. That's your job as a coaching staff. Make sure. But players also should not escape culpability here. No, I didn't know. How do you not know? How do you not know the rules of your game?
Yeah.
You say you're desperately, I'll do anything to win a Super Bowl. Will you read the rule book? Will you understand the rule book? Will you understand it? Coaches gave it to you. They told you what you're going to do. You probably weren't listening in that meeting, to be quite honest. Now, of course, again, if you're a coach or a teacher and you can't just give them the information and hope they absorb it. If you're a good coach and a good teacher, you want to make sure that they absorb it. And clearly a lot of them did not. All right, we got to take a break. We're going to talk some basketball with our good man, David Zimroth. Coach Z will join us here, and we'll talk some USF, talk a little NBA, some FSU, some high school stuff going on, an incredible player emerging here in the Tampa Bay area. You'll get it all from the great Coach Z coming up next. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance, folks. Get that insurance checkup done, 813-877-7799. They can save you thousands of dollars like they've done for me. Let them do the work. You save the money, 813-877-7799, Italiano Insurance. Back in 3.
This is The Strike. 1025 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Start the new year with a new diamond from the Gold and Diamond Source. It's still engagement season. Where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? Of course, I just got mine there. I'm engaged. You should do the same thing. Let's go. Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country. A literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. And if you have a loved one or a special person in your life who has a birthday this month, maybe you have an anniversary coming up, you can get 15% off the January birthstone, which is garnet, as in garnet and gold for all your Seminoles. Celebrate that mythical national championship. And it's the Gold and Diamond Source's 40th anniversary. For the past 40 years, they have taken pride in offering only natural diamonds formed over billions of years from the Earth's incredible forces. And gold prices are at an all-time high. Now's your chance to turn your jewelry box into a cash machine. It's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Here's we roll on Valentine's Day, Hump Day, Valentine's Day. Yeah, quite appropriate. Absolutely. Usually it's on a Tuesday, though, right?
It usually is. I usually think it is on a Monday or Tuesday. Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That we went out to Ocean Prime last night, the lovely Ashley and I, because I'm having to take the kids to the basketball game tonight. So we went a night early. It was lovely dinner. I had a wonderful time. It was good.
Nice.
Nice little romantic Ocean Prime dinner. They had the Lightning game on. I couldn't watch it all the time, but I did.
How does that work? How do you use your peripherals on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you're looking into her eyes and telling her how much you love her, and it's like Chernak scored.
Whoa!
Was that a goal? What is saved by Vassy?
Right, but she doesn't get mad at you because she understands. Because you're the grand poobah here.
That's right. That's right.
By the way, congratulations on the strike, 102.5.
Yes.
ID.
Good to be back. Good to be back on the radio at 102.5 HD2. So if you guys are running around out there, you can tune us on into HD2. That's 102.5. You'll see it there just when you're scrolling through. It'll say right underneath 102.5 HD2. Pop that in, lock it in. So you get this show live from 10 to 12. Greg Linnelli and Greg Michigan at live 12 to 1. And then we have a bunch of other great, like Phil and Chief with their Martini Monday podcast and all the other great podcasts that rerun there. So
Dave, not Greg. Dave and Greg. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah,
sorry about that. All right, we got Z on.
Yeah, we do. We got him.
Coach Z, how you doing, partner? How are you?
Morning. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Before we start, JP,
yes, sir.
I have to wish the 4 women in my life a happy Valentine's Day. My wife, Mary, my younger daughter, Abby, my oldest daughter, Elizabeth Russo, and my granddaughter, who'll be 1 year old here in a week or so, Reese Russo. So happy Valentine's Day, sweethearts.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
You got some great women in your life there, Z. You're a lucky man. You're very lucky, like me.
Changed my life, as you well know.
Yes, absolutely. For the better, by the way. For the much better.
That's always a good thing, to change for the better. Yes, good stuff, Coach Z. Yeah.
I've had some that changed my life for the worse. So it's I choose better. Better is way better.
I choose you.
Where you and I were 35 years ago in Tallahassee, our lives have changed for the better.
Yes, much better.
So I want to hear some of those stories from 35 years ago, Coach Z. Can you?
Coach Z was hanging out with Jimmy Valvano and the guy from Nike, Sonny Vaccaro.
I thought JP had ownership in Clyde's and Costello's, who was there so much.
I did. As a matter of fact, I had a stool right in the corner in the back. That was my property right there.
Area. Trust me, I used to sneak over there just to see what was going on.
Everybody knew where to find me right there at the end of the bar. I'd come in the back door because there'd always be a huge line out front. So I get done with the 11 o'clock news at channel 27, and then drive downtown, park right there. Come in, there's Gigamo Brothers Pizza right there. The great Jeff Gigante, who owns Forbici and Union and Boulogne. He got his start right there with his first pizza place. And then you walk in the back door, Clyde's and Costello's, like you work there, and had my little spot there. And yeah, that was the spot.
Those long lines didn't stop Pat Kennedy and I can tell you that.
I'd bring you guys. Well, you guys just walk up through the front door. Absolutely. They know who you are right away.
And no cover, no nothing. Yeah. You guys are the kings of that time.
I would say those were the good old days, Z, but these are much better. Let's be honest.
Oh, these are much better. These are much better.
All right. So let's talk a little hoops. The USF biggest week of their basketball lives, I would have to say. They got Tulsa tonight and FAU on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And it's funny, we talked the last couple of weeks about I've used the line setting the table. Well, the table's set. They've got a game tonight that's a very winnable game versus Tulsa. Tulsa is not the program it was in the heyday. They were traditional basketball power. They're kind of rebuilding. And then, God willing, everything goes correctly tonight. It sets up for, I've said this, and I don't mind saying it again, the biggest sporting event in the athletic department history, my opinion. And I think the facts bear out. I mean, it's these two games can create a lot of separation from Charlotte, FAU, and with UAB coming on strong. If they can get these two games, it puts them at 19-5, 12-1. And in my opinion, if they are the regular season champions, they will get an at-large berth no matter what, because they will have beaten FAU at number 20. Great that FAU still ranked. Right. And then they beat Memphis when Memphis was 10. So, this is huge. And tell you what, the way he's got this team playing and kind of just acting, and it doesn't seem like this is too big a spot for them. I think they're very level-headed. He's very level-headed.
Yeah.
The kids play to his demeanor. I tell you what, my hat's off to him. 9 straight games they've won. They've won 15 out of their last 16. Here's the thing I don't get. On a national scale, I don't know how many other programs have got this kind of run in their last 16 games, but I think it should be a bigger story. That's my opinion.
How, Coach Z, how you've coached before, if you're Coach Raheem, how do you'll get your team ready to not look ahead for FAU on Sunday?
I look, I don't think they've been looking ahead at anything. When you win 9 in a row at this stage of the season in every conceivable fashion, coming from behind in the last few minutes, from being down at halftime double digits to beating every different kind of team that you could play against with their styles. I just think that the team, they take one game at a time, and then, they live in the here and now, and they're just very realistic about everything. I tell you what, they're playing in a very mature fashion, and I'm a big fan.
Well, this FAU game, I'm guessing they're hoping for a sellout in this particular game. I can't remember when the last time they sold out the Yuengling Center for a basketball game. When you guys were there, you were winning 20 games at least a couple of seasons. You had some big moments. I think you filled it a few times, but how many times has that place been absolutely jammed to the rafters?
There's a few less seats, I think, now than there was before the Sundome Yuengling Center got, redone. But we had one year where we were 7-0 and we were coming home to play the Gators, and I think they were ranked 7-8 or something like that, and it was a sellout. And sadly, we blew the game in the last 10 minutes, but I don't remember. I'm sure one time Cincinnati came in here. I think they were number 1 in the country at the time, but I don't know of a lot of sellouts. But that place will be rocking. Look, they have national televised audience with ESPN, 12 o'clock. You're talking about a perfect time to play for people to watch games on TV. Plus, the weather's not going to be great, so there should be people in the gym and people sitting at home watching.
All right, should be fun. I think I'm going to the game as a fan. I don't know if Peter's going to cover the game. Are you going, Z?
I have to work on Sunday, so
okay.
I'll be there. But I'll be checking. I'll be checking my phone.
All right. It's going to be huge. I think there's still tickets available, so go get your tickets and let's pack. But go see the game tonight, right? They're at home tonight, right?
Yeah, they're at home tonight against Tulsa. So we'll see how that. Yeah.
JP, on another note, we have one of the great basketball players during my tenure, Chauncey Asbury, who lives in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Texted me he's tuned in live to this show right now.
Chauncey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, it's heck of a player, man. Heck of a player. Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about FSU. They lost last night at Virginia Tech, 83-75. They lost to Virginia Saturday at home by 4. And then they got Duke coming up on Saturday at home. So if they're going to get back in and make a run, this game against Duke is a must win. They've beaten Duke before. They've gotten top 10. They both beat a number 1 Duke team. You did when you were on that staff, right? Byron Wells at the buzzer.
Right. And Florida State's got to get back to the way they were playing when they had that good run. Yeah. I think the last 2 games, they've lost the last 2 games, giving up threes. University of Virginia had a guy, McNeely, hit a bunch of threes. And then last night at Virginia Tech, their perimeter guys were just knocking down threes. And those will kill you. You got to be able to, make every shot a hard shot. And the last couple of games, they've given up. I wouldn't call them open threes, but look, in this day and age, you got guys that can shoot. Getting a hand up on a good shooter, that's not contesting a shot. All right. Yeah. You got to make it a hard catch and a hard shot at every possession. But these next 4 games are crucial. They're crucial for Florida State to get back. They've got Duke, then they've got Boston College at home, Clemson on the road, NC State at home. My opinion, there's 3 games in there that are winnable games. The Duke game, they're going to have to play really well. But Duke's not an overpowering squad right now, and I think their players are going to know that it's a big game. And if they can get these next 4 games, it puts them at 17-11 and 11-6 in the league. 11-6 in the ACC is a pretty good record.
Damn good.
Coming down the road. So let's hope it all happens.
Yeah,
All
they
right.
got to get those first 4, spots there, and then they get that bye in the tournament, and that's huge because last year
11-6 could do it. Look, they're playing 3 of those teams are not ranked, and I'm big on teams that are ranked. When you're playing ranked teams day in and day out, or week in and week out, that becomes very difficult for anybody.
All right, Z, you tell me we got a local high school kid that's just filling it up, scoring 40 points a game, scoring 40 points in a high school game, which they're still playing 8-minute quarters. I don't know, right?
Yeah. They
Damn.
have to change that, and they don't have a shot clock. But, there's a young man over at Tampa Catholic, Isaiah Campbell Finch. I tell you, I saw him play early in the year, 6-foot point guard. He got 44 against Berkeley Prep in a win. Then he played Tampa Prep a week or 2 back, got 42 in a 1-point loss. And then in a huge district championship game at Berkeley Prep on the road, he gets 47. Now, I could be wrong about this because it's been a long time. I'm not sure during my tenure living in this city and during my years of coaching, have I seen a high school kid have a run like this. Kevin Knox had a 56-point game. I don't know how many times he scored 40 in 1 year. But not since Tony Mack, way back in the early 80s.
Tony Mack.
Has there been a kid, from my recollection, I'm probably wrong, there's probably been a kid or two that has had these types of games, these scoring outbursts. I was at a couple high school games in the last week or two, JP. The games were 42-40, 46-42. This kid's getting 40 by himself.
That's insane.
People don't realize how hard that is to do in a high school basketball game, and I've always stood by this. If you can get 40 points in a high school basketball game, you're pretty darn good.
Damn right. Where's he? Is he a senior?
No, he's a junior. It's only a
junior. Holy moly!
Wow.
So he's one to watch. The thing about Tampa fans, we've had really good high school basketball players in Tampa. I mean, a lot of really good, nationally prominent kids come out of here. And I think this is the kind of kid that fans of basketball in this town should gravitate toward because he plays with an intensity that is not common on that level. He plays with a college level physical intensity. When he dribbles the ball, he wants to put it through the floor. I mean, he's really a pleasure to watch. And I urge everybody that gets a chance to go see him play, along with any college coaches, that are listening, if they even are, this is the kid you got to recruit.
So he plays for Tampa Catholic, right? And where are they still in it? Are they still in?
Yeah, they're in it. They play third tomorrow night. They play at home against Bishop Barreau.
Mm-hmm.
And, hopefully they'll make a run. And but in high school basketball, without a shot clock and special defense, someone will go see the kid play, he'll get 20, 25. That's still a lot of points.
That's a lot.
But when you're scoring that many points in a basketball game, I would think fans that are interested would kind of get out there and see, hey, I want to see a kid score 40 points.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not comparing him, but every great scorer, look, Charlie Bradley led the country in scoring at USF for 3/4 of the year when he was a junior. It was a daily follow-up, what he scored, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, you're a big-time scorer. People want to see big-time scorers.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's playing tomorrow night at home at Tampa Catholic against Bishop Barreau in a playoff game. I'm guessing it's
regional. I think it's the first round of the regional. So
that's a must-see right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get there early. They'll pack that gym for that. So, and I tell you what, those high school gyms, when they get packed, they are loud, man. They are loud.
Catholic's got brand new gym, beautiful place.
That's right.
Didn't
Kevin Knox pay for that?
Yeah, this kid's knocking on all the scoring records, and the gym's named after him, for God's sake.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
It's amazing.
How about that one?
Yeah.
That's giving back right there. I love it.
Another couple of quick shout outs. My good friend Chris Severini, head basketball coach at Academy of Holy Names, has a big game tonight up at Weeki Wachee. Guy's a great young coach. And then, thinking of Dick Vitale at this time, who has been dealing with different results and hoping all that goes well for Dick Vitale. And
let's send a healing vibe out to Dickie V. We love you, man.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's a friend of the show. Absolutely. We love you, buddy.
No doubt. Hey, look, this is all Florida basketball stuff.
I know. I'm not a huge, as you know, I'm going to a Magic game tonight, Z. I'm taking my 11 and under team to the Magic. We're the Anthem buddies too. So we'll be down on the floor. I'm going to try to jack up a three.
Beautiful arena.
Yeah. I have not been to a Magic game in that arena yet. I've been to concerts there, but I haven't been to a Magic game. So we'll be down on the floor as the Anthem buddies, my kids, and I'm going to have to tell them to shut up during the anthem. If it's even possible. Like, you guys make one peep during the anthem, I swear.
That's it.
See, I can't get them to pay attention while I'm coaching. Like, what? Every time I'm trying to teach them a little, the finer points of the 2-1-2 matchup zone, and they're grabbing each other's ass, they're jumping all over each other, they want to play knockout. What the hell, man?
Well, your first mistake, and look, you're a heck of a basketball player, but your first mistake is trying to teach a 2-1-2 matchup zone to 11-year-olds. That's your first mistake.
I wasn't doing that. I just went. We're doing the basic 2-1-2. We're just doing a basic 2-1-2 zone defense.
Coach, man-to-man defense.
Man-to-man. That's it.
It should be playing.
All right. I got to ask Coach Z something. We were just talking about Shaq and retiring his number. How much of a mistake was that? Do you remember where you were when you heard that Shaq decided to bolt Orlando for the LA Lakers?
Well, I don't remember exactly where I was, but you can't, you can't blame him for what he did. Look, at the end of the day, it probably increased his presence throughout our country and internationally beyond belief by going to LA. But at the end of the day, what he did for Orlando and the Magic franchise, when they first started their franchise, we were all Florida State at the time. We played a game there every year. We were pretty involved with those guys. And it was an exciting time with a young franchise, Pat Williams, and, heck, Brian Hill was coaching. He's a good friend of Pat Kennedy's. It was a glorious time. And it's just a shame that all those guys kind of hit the road, And I think it was a great move putting his jersey up there.
Early 90s, FSU and Z and those boys, Doug Edwards and Charlie Ward and Bob Sura are going to, and Sam Cassell, we can't forget him, are going to the Final 8, Final 16. Penny and Shaq are doing their thing in Orlando. We got All-Star game. We had the All-Star game there in Orlando with Magic Johnson hitting a big three. Remember at the end? I mean, basketball was like, if Florida was playing well, it was a big deal in this state. That was kind of the heyday of hoops.
The Miami Heat had just started. I'll tell you a funny little anecdote here. Shaq and Doug Edwards visited NC State official visit same weekend.
Really?
Yeah. How about
Did you recruit Shaq? You had to recruit Shaq.
It's funny. It's funny you bring that up. Back in those days, I called any kid. It didn't matter. If you were a great player, you got a phone call from David Zimmer. So I actually called him up. I still have his home number from San Antonio in my little records. And we talked. I said, hey, would you be interested in Florida State? And he goes, I'm interested in everyone, Coach. I said, well, I'll come out there and watch. I went out. It was like a spring league or a summer league game or something. I walked in the gym. Nobody was in the gym but me and him and a couple of guys warming up.
Come on.
I called Pat Kennedy. I said, Pat, you're not going to believe this. I'm the only one here. You know what happens when I'm the only one here? He goes, Z, just enjoy your night. We ain't getting that kid. If you're the only one there, he already knows where he's going. So I ran into him years later at a restaurant on Miami Beach. Years later. He was already retired. Maybe he was finishing up with the Heat. And I ran into him and I said, you're not going to remember me, but I came to recruit you at Cole High School when you were, living in San Antonio. I was at Florida State. He goes, you know how many people I had recruiting me? I said, hey, just thought I'd mention it.
That's right. I don't remember you. Who the hell are you?
I
don't know who the hell you are. You know how many people I had recruit me? Shut up.
He was great.
I'll buy you steak, though.
The top-ranked player in Texas at the time.
That's crazy.
I remember the first time I saw him on TV. I was like, oh, my God, look at this size. And then he starts running up and down the floor like a gazelle. I'm like, I never seen anything like that.
He was.
I remember the dunk against the Nets. That's on a Friday night, and he had to get out of the way because he nearly cuts his head off because he dunks the ball and the shot clock comes down. The whole thing. He did that the first of the year with the Phoenix Suns, but this was more violent.
Yeah.
And I believe it's also the same night that Nick Anderson scored 50 points, if I'm not correct about it, because he used to watch Orlando all the time with him and Nick Anderson. And of course,
we went up from Tallahassee, Z, one time, and we went to Orlando to do like a bunch of stories. And I remember walking into their practice facility, and Penny and Shaq were there, and I couldn't stop staring at him. He's just so freaking big and so athletic. And then as we moved up closer to do the interview, I've never stood next to a human being that big in my life. And he started messing around with the reporters, like knocking us around, he hit me with an elbow, like the force of that human being. I almost went across the gym. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, Pete, JP's complaining about getting an elbow from Shaq. This guy played lunchtime basketball games where all he did was throw elbows.
Oh, of course.
Got to make some space. South
Broward guys in the old days, they played dirty.
I got Mark Richt hanging all over me like a freaking gorilla, holding me, grabbing my neck. You got to give a little.
So basically what you're saying here, Coach,
every now and then,
is that JP was the Dennis Rodman before Dennis Rodman in basketball there, huh?
He was a little better shooter.
No.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks,
all right. We'll give you that. That's good.
Not much, a little.
Yeah, Z.
But nobody messed with him because they all wanted to be on the radio or TV, so everybody
That's right. That's right. You had to be nice to the media. Yeah, the way Z was shooting from the logo before Steph Curry. That's all I'm going to say. You think Steph Curry was the first to do that? No. He crossed half court. That ball was going up. He didn't always make it, but it looked good. It looked good.
I was ordered to stop playing in those lunchtime games by Pat.
I know.
Some of the boosters were getting mad because I would run my mouth.
Wow, that's good
True
stuff.
story.
Good trash talk. Yeah, I want to watch that game. That's that'd be more entertaining than. And I love the NBA right now, but it's just all threes, no defense, no big men, no physicality.
We had Coach Z, Mark Richt, Skip Holtz.
Whoa.
Old Tom Carlson, BJ Daniels' dad, Bruce, was like great player, great point guard. Who else we have in those games?
Eugene Granger was his lead.
Gene Granger, the equipment man. Eugene was there, yeah. Oh,
and then Fred Dickinson, the head of the department.
Yeah, Fred would be out there. Billy Schultz.
Oh yeah. Well, he was a swimmer. He just used his long arms.
Yeah, great group, man. It was fun. Lunchtime basketball, Pete. We play for freaking an hour and a half, side to side, not full court. The old men, we couldn't go. We couldn't
small
side. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We get more shots up. All right, Z, great stuff. How can everybody get in touch with you if they need some great coaching?
Real quick, JP, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention UCF and the fact that they're in the toughest league in the country in the Big 12 with 6 or 7 ranked teams. And I'm hoping Johnny Dawkins and staff can get a hold on it. And the next 4 games for them are big and get them back into a positive light. But tell you what, people don't understand. UCF's in the toughest basketball league in America. It's way tougher than the football side of it. So it's way tougher.
Yeah. It's great to see them in that league though, and I hope USF gets there soon. And I think they will. They're heading in the right direction. This basketball and football season have been huge for them, right at the right time, because there's going to be some radical realignment coming, I think, in the next couple of years, and they need to be a part of. They need to be in it with the big boys for sure. All right, Z, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you if they need some great coaching for their kids.
Dzimroth at brighthouse.com. ZIMROTH. Dzimroth at brighthouse.com.
There we go. All right, Z, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks, bud.
You got it, guys.
See you Sunday, too. FAU. Oh, no, you're not going to be there. That's right. Peter will be
I'm working, man. I got to earn a living.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah. All right. Well, that should be fun tonight. I'll be watching tonight. What are they on tonight? Probably ESPN Plus tonight. for
Yeah, 7:00 ESPN University, whatever the heck that is, and also follow
ESPNU. Oh, okay, cool. I get that.
Yeah, there you go. So you go. And going back to the Magic, you remember they defeat Michael Jordan, who's coming back with Shaq and Penny Hardaway. I think it's in 94, 95, of course. That's when they go to the finals. The very next year, that team has 60 wins with Shaq and Penny, with Nick and Horace Grant and Dennis Scott.
Great team, man. What a great team.
And they get absolutely poleaxed by the Chicago Bulls, who, by the way, that year were 72-10.
That was a great team, though. I remember watching that. People don't remember this, man. The Magic were a big deal in the state of Florida. That team was gigantic. It was huge. I mean, basketball came to Florida, and it was a big deal. It was a heyday. It was really the heyday because the Heat were good. Like Z said, the Heat were good. Magic had Penny and Shaq. FSU was really, really good. Miami, I think UM was good. Florida was good. Everybody was good, and basketball was a thing in Florida, and it's kind of fizzled out. It kind of fizzled out. The Magic sucking for so long have certainly not happened. Of course, the Heat have put up, but the Heat are so far down south, it really doesn't resonate to the rest of Florida.
No.
And of course, and of course, look, Tampa Bay has never had an NBA franchise. Obviously, I don't think they ever should. I don't think there's a level of interest there. But if the Magic got hot and we had our freaking bullet train, that we've been promised, right? We had our bullet train and the Magic got hot. I think. I'm not saying it's not going to be 10,000 a night going to Orlando to watch basketball, but you could get a couple of thousand every night from the Tampa Bay area that would jump on a train and go 45 minutes to get and drop me off right at the Magic game and then take me home. Hell, it's quicker than going to a freaking Rays game if you live in Tampa Palms.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And they have some excitement. I mean, they have a couple building blocks there. I want to ask Coach Z about this. I'll ask him next time. Paulo
Bancaro's a player, man. He's legit. He's a legit all-star. He's a guy.
Franz Wagner from Michigan.
Yeah.
I mean,
they've got a guy at the end of games in Bancaro that can go get you a bucket and win games. And you got to have that if you're going to win in the playoffs. So I think they're still just maybe a couple pieces away, and these guys are getting better. So they went on a 9-game winning streak this year. I think
they did
at one point.
Yeah, they started out hot. They've kind of come back to earth there. Markelle Fultz, I don't necessarily know if he's the answer at point guard. I think that's what they're missing. Jalen Suggs, top player. You could see when they lost to the Lakers earlier this year, I think it was Golden State, how upset he was as just a young player, how much it meant to him. So he's got to develop his game defensively. He's already there. You talk about Jonathan Isaac from Florida State, a lot of expectations, 6'10".
Finally starting to play.
Right. But can he stay healthy? If he could stay healthy, defensively, he's already there. Offensively, we know that he's got the potential to even be better than that. They have some pieces there. And just to think about it, we talked about Shaq and Penny. Remember, this team had Tracy McGrady and Grant Hill. And of course, Grant Hill not working out, getting hurt. But you do know the story about Tim Duncan. If you go back to it, that organization does right by Tim Duncan and says that he can bring his wife, that Tim Duncan most likely is in an Orlando Magic uniform with Tracy McGrady possibly instead of Grant Hill. I mean, they were that close to getting Tim Duncan, and the reason why Duncan chose the San Antonio Spurs at the time is because they allowed his wife and allowed him to be on the plane. That's the reason why. Tim Duncan
I did not know that.
Player, yes. So you had McGrady, you had Hill, and then, of course, you had Dwight Howard, who took them to the finals versus Kobe. So it's not like the Magic have never had success. Like when they began, they really sucked. You had Scott Skiles and everybody else on that team. And
remember that. Yeah.
Yes, I remember. It was on Sunshine Network, Orlando Magic basketball. Nobody was watching. You were watching it. And then all of a sudden, Shaq comes, Penny comes, and you get all this success, and then they just allow Shaq to walk out the door.
Well, I don't know if they just allowed him to walk out the door, but I think that Z mentioned that that the paper where they did the poll in Orlando, and half the people were like, "Yeah, we don't." I mean, that's when Shaq was like, "Well, screw you people then." You know what? I mean, that should have been 90-10.
Right.
We want him to stay. I mean, how the hell would you do, idiots? And had it been that and the organization stepped up, he might have stayed. I don't know. But, Orlando compared to LA is a small pond. And had he stayed in Orlando his entire career, I don't know if he'd be the world star that he is today. I don't know. We probably would have, because he still would have been on Olympic teams. They probably would have won a couple of championships. You know, he still would have been in the national limelight, of course. But he chose a different path, and I think it worked out for him, obviously, because he's a megastar. He's one of the most well-known people in the world.
And then he ends up going to the Heat and winning a championship with Dwayne Wade. And then after that, he tries to win one with LeBron, but of course he didn't. Wasn't
well. I'll say this. You know, I think when you heard Kobe talk about Shaq, he just, you know, if Shaq had Kobe's drive and dedication, he would have been the greatest player of all time. But he didn't. Mm-hmm. He didn't. But he was still pretty good. He's still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
But you know, and I think Shaq would be the first one to tell you that. But it's just, you know, people are wired differently. Not many people wired like Kobe and Michael Jordan. Not many people wired that way. It's you can be the most dedicated person you want to be, but those dudes just took it to another level. They just took it to another level, and that's just not Shaq's personality. Number one, it's just not. So you love him for who he is, and I think he's incredibly entertaining. I mean, I'll watch Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and Ern. I'll watch that show before I'll watch an NBA game.
Wow. It's probably more entertaining than the NBA.
It's 10 times more entertaining.
Yeah.
Because you're learning, they're talking about basketball. You never know what Chuck's going to say. And then Shaq's just always making fun of Chuck. So it's such a great dynamic. It's a great ensemble cast.
Sure.
It's like watching a sitcom, you know, with basketball as the template, but they're fantastic. Right. All right. We're going to take another break. We come back. We'll do a little Rays, right? We need to do that. They want to talk some about their pitching staff and a couple other hangover notes from the Super Bowl and maybe a Bolts return. Stay with us.
Here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to GeddesGordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on Valentine's Day. Hope you guys got your shopping done. Do you have any good Valentine's Day stories, Peter Blake? Good or bad?
Yeah, not really good Valentine's stories. Nothing really good. I admit that. It has not necessarily been the best holiday for me. So,
sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay.
Sorry to hear that.
That's all right. That's okay. I'm more focused. I'm focused on this show. I'm focused on sports. I'm focused on my career than anything else. Valentine's.
If you guys got any good stories? Please fill up the comment section. Love to hear that one.
I got nothing at this point. I remember I used to give this girl from middle school to high school Valentine's candy every year, but there's nothing that ever happened out of that. So that's what I got. So
little Jenny
yeah, it's about like
I love you, Jenny.
Listen. Jenny is an awful person. I mean, I get it, the way she's portrayed, but what she puts Forrest through through all those years. I mean, the guy has to.
The hippies. He's a drug addict.
Well, yeah, and finally,
come on, stripper. She was a stripper,
right? She decides to embrace him after she gets HIV/AIDS. I mean, come on, he has to wait all his life to finally get with this girl, and
thanks
then
for that, Jenny.
She has to get terminally sick, and then leaves him with a kid. Like, congratulations. You get married to me because you wanted me all my life. I'm going to die here in the next couple years, and I leave you with the kid also. Congratulations.
Wow, man. You really put a bad spin on Forrest Gump, you know?
It is. I mean, kind of look at it, JP. Look at it a little bit here. I mean, the guy works hard all his life, creates his own business. Finally, he gets his own business. Then he gets with her. Then she leaves him again. She always leaves him until she is sick, and then finally she comes back to him.
I love the line. There's so many good lines in there. When Sally Field, his mom, right, hires Forrest to tutor. The tutor comes over to the house. The tutor's leaving. He's like, well, boy, your mama sure cares about your education.
And he just, yeah. Remember he's talking to Bubba? And he goes, Forrest, am I dying? He goes, you got shot.
Oh, did he playing ping pong like the great ping pong player?
Yeah,
hilarious.
Well,
all right,
and ask him to bend over. He bends over. And he goes, Mama had to lay down after that. She wasn't feeling well.
So, all right. So the Rays just signed Phil. How do we say this? Matone.
Mm-hmm.
Phil Matone. Maton. All right. So they're paying this guy $6.5 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last 2 years, 67 innings at 29 years old, 3.84 ERA. 67 games, 65 innings pitched with 73 strikeouts. So a little over a strikeout per inning. Not bad for a reliever.
Right.
But he's got 2 career saves. Like, he's not a closer.
No, he's not a closer
at all.
He's a high leverage guy, it seems like.
And most of it, from age 27 to age 28, the 4 years he pitched at Cleveland, in Houston, or 3 years he pitched there, his ERA was 4.57, 4.73, 4.57, 4.97. Like, it's not, I don't see any great numbers here. He's a right-hander, and his splits are pretty even against righties and lefties. So I guess they like that. His his whip last year was 1.12. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. That's the lowest of his career, by the way. Last year was probably the best year of his career. Well, it was in terms of numbers. So maybe he's found a little something with his sweeper there that's working for him. But so his whip was 1.21. ERA 3-point even, 68 innings or 68 games, 66 innings pitched, 49 hits. Like I said, a whip of 1.121. Pretty good numbers. Not phenomenal numbers. Strikeout per 9 innings, 10.1 last year. So career of 10.3. So that's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's a strikeout pitcher, but he's pretty good. But $6.5 million for that kind of
yeah, we'll see. But the Rays, they have their ways with pitchers, right? I mean, who's the pitcher last year? Started out as a bullpen guy, and they got enough contributions.
They make everybody better. So,
right. Does he turn out to be that type of pitcher? The pitcher that was in the bullpen, and again, the name escapes me for some reason. Who is it that came from the bullpen they got from San Francisco off the scrap heap? I mean, they continue to just, put pitchers out there that start out in the bullpen, and then eventually
that's about 1,000 pitchers that they've had over the years that they brought in and turned them into, have been trash and been on the scrap heap and turned them into usable guys. So it's
right.
And that, like I said, they've got some, they'll do it again this year. They'll find a way. Snyder will find a way. That's just the way they work it. Get to a couple more comments here from today's great commenters. James and I are definitely going to go at it here. Regarding the Super Bowl, you have to kick the field goal there. Talking about in overtime when San Francisco took the ball like morons, went down to the 9-yard line, had 4th and 4 from the 9, and decided to kick a field goal with Patrick Mahomes on the other side. Yeah, giving him 4 downs to do what he has to do. He says you have to kick the field goal there. The Niners have held the Chiefs the whole game to field goals other than the punt miscue. So Niners D needed to hold the Chiefs to a field goal, and they didn't. The punt miscue was huge. No question about that. But Patrick Mahomes in that situation, he just went down and got the tying field goal. If they needed to score a touchdown, they probably could have. But no, the strategic advantage in overtime of knowing that you have to go for it on 4th down is so large that you can't, everything else you can bring up. Okay, if you get it a 3rd time, you can end the game. That's a positive. You could say your defense was tired, but with the long break they had between overtime and the actual playing of overtime at the end of the game, because of all the commercial breaks, there were 2 commercial breaks, I believe. You had 7, 8, 9 minutes for your defense to rest. I don't think that's a factor. But having the 4th down, knowing what you have to do, that's why in every situation in college football, and I know it's a different overtime, but the concept is the same. It's much better to know what you have to do. You have the information. There are no big decisions to make in terms of 4th down. They're already made for you for the most part. And that actually came into play on the Chiefs' drive. They had 4th and 1 at their own 34. Whereas on 4th and 4, if you knew you had to get it, let's just say this. If you had a crystal ball and you knew that the Chiefs were going to score a touchdown, all right? You knew that. Just like the Chiefs knew they had to go for it on 4th down. If you knew you had to go for it on 4th and 4 from the 9, would you have? Of course you would have. Of course you would. And then so now you have an opportunity to make the 1st down or maybe a touchdown and win the game, but there's no decision to be made. That decision that we're arguing about is taken off the table because you already know you got to go for it. And in that situation, you got to go for it. So maybe your 3rd down play is a little bit different. So there's so many, the incredible strategic advantage you get from going second negates anything else we're talking about. And it's not even close. It's not even close.
It's what you always do as an NFL team. Anytime,
it's a no freaking brainer, man.
They always defer. Why? Because they can get the ball in the second half. The same thing could be applied here. You have to score a touchdown.
The play calling changes. Everything changes. You know the outcome before you do it.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do. When you get the ball first, you don't know what you have to do. It's such a gigantic strategic advantage for a professional football coach to not know that is complete ridiculousness. It's coaching malfeasance, and he can say everything he wants to, and then if you take the ball first, you got to go for it on 4th and 4, James. You have to. You're going to give the Mahomes the ball, and all he has to do is get a field goal in that situation. All right. Let me back up. If you on 4th and 4, if you score the touchdown, you can't. And here's the other news that we just found out: Kansas City was going for 2, so you weren't going to see the ball anyway. That's what happens when you give the advantage to the other team. They decide the terms of the game now. When you had that in your hand, you could have decided whether you're going to go for 2 and win the game, or whether you need to go for it on 4th down. All that stuff is decided for you. That's why it's such a huge strategical advantage.
And this is what Kyle Shanahan has done throughout his coaching career. This is what he did against with the Atlanta Falcons as an offensive coordinator when he's looking ahead to be the San Francisco 49ers coach there. And instead of you're running the ball, you try to be too aggressive, and you give the Patriots and Tom Brady, you give freaking Tom Brady the opportunity instead of doing what you needed to do at that point. And if you run the ball out, basically the Atlanta Falcons have a Super Bowl. Even though you're going to coach the San Francisco 49ers, eventually you have a Super Bowl under your belt. This has followed Shanahan ever since he's coached, since he coached as an offensive coordinator. So now you kind of wonder, can he get over the top? Can he get over the top with just his coaching alone?
I don't know. If I'm John Lynch, I'm sitting there next to him at the press conference yesterday with a smile on some of the time, and I'm looking at my coach a little sideways.
Well, I want to interview John Lynch one of these days and ask him, what were you guys thinking about passing up on Tom Brady for Jimmy Garoppolo? Because let's face it, if you go with, I get it. It's, you go back in history, hindsight is 2020. But if you get Tom Brady instead of Jimmy Garoppolo, do you win a Super Bowl? I think you do with that defense and with all that talent with Deebo Samuel. I want to know what they were thinking. I want to know.
Well, when are we talking about here? When did that?
This is the first time when Brady's choosing his teams, and you hear that San Francisco is not in it. They wanted to go with Jimmy Garoppolo over Brady. Brady wanted to go to San Francisco. San Francisco didn't want him.
Here's the Scott. Now, was that a John Lynch decision or a Kyle Shanahan decision?
I mean, whatever.
I can tell you this, as I know John Lynch. Yeah, it wasn't his decision.
Okay.
I can't believe John Lynch would have made that decision.
Well, how can John Lynch not overrule the coach? How can you not listen? This is the greatest of all time. He wants to play for the San Francisco.
Because if you're John Lynch, you have an offensive-minded coach, and he tells you this is the guy that he wants and this fits his system, if you're a good general manager, I don't know if you go against that. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is considered the offensive genius of our time. Right. That he's continued the offensive genius. So if he tells me, and I'm the general manager, and I'm, John Lynch, the Hall of Fame defensive player, and this guy's telling me Brady's done, I need Garoppolo, I need mobility to run this offense, then I'm sticking with him. And then, and I don't think I know the Trey Lance thing was not John Lynch's idea. Trading all that capital away to get Trey Lance. But, and then, Kyle's like, I can't win it with Garoppolo. I need someone like Trey Lance. Another whiff. Yeah.
Well, here's the problem, though. You know what Jimmy Garoppolo is going to give you because the year before you're in the Super Bowl versus the Chiefs, and he can't complete those big-time passes down the stretch. In fact, that critical pass, which less than 2 minutes to play, if you hit that deep pass, you win.
Well, everybody acts like it's a handoff, by the way. It's the fourth quarter. It's the fourth quarter in a pressure situation in the Super Bowl. You got guys in your face, and you're throwing the ball 50 yards down the field in the air to a speeding receiver at top speed who's well covered. All right, he had a step on him. And he misses him by like a half a yard. And for that, people have said Jimmy Garoppolo is the worst quarterback in the history of the league. And I'm like, you people are morons.
I'm not saying he's the worst quarterback. I'm just saying.
I know you didn't say it, but a lot of people are like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo sucks. He sucks. I'm like,
but can Brady?
You don't have a record like he has in the NFL and suck. All right. You may be not championship level,
right?
Because you missed one pass.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing with people with he misses a pass by a half a yard. That would have been all right. If he completes that, then he's a Super Bowl champion and look at his record, one of the greatest quarterbacks that I've ever, and he misses the pass and he's a bum. Like there's no middle ground whatsoever. I'm like, come on, people.
Yeah.
The guy was won 70% of his games in the NFL and he's a bum.
True.
Come on.
It's true. I mean, but you look at it at the end of the day, right? I mean, your limitations, and that coach is still fighting for Garoppolo, knowing that you have a quarterback in Tom Brady who has always been able to come back usually in the fourth quarter there and will make that pass. I just wonder what you're thinking. Like you're too much, you have too much loyalty to that quarterback. And it basically costed you a championship or two. Who knows? They could have won multiple championships. The Bucs could have won multiple championships if they don't have those injuries to Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown quitting on that team. I mean, who knows? But
that's
Brady,
football, man. That's football.
Brady
Thing. The only constant seems to be if you have Patrick Mahomes, you can overcome everything.
Right.
I mean, I was looking at that Kansas City offense. I'm going with Joe Tourney out. I mean, you're like, Jesus, you get Donovan Smith. I mean, your offensive line without Tourney is pretty average, if not below average.
Right.
And then you got your receivers are, no disrespect, MVS. You're looking at Rashee Rice.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got a rookie,
Sidney
you got
Rice,
MVS, and like you got Kelsey. All right, Kelsey's an all-timer, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's a pretty pedestrian group of guys. Pacheco is a 7th-round pick. I know he runs hard, but I mean, he's not surrounded by incredible all-pro talent. Tyreek Hill was that guy, but they got rid of him and they've won 2 Super Bowls. It's just Mahomes, man. Just freaking Mahomes.
Yeah.
So
can you imagine them getting
this just in? You give him the ball in 4 downs, he's gonna beat you.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna beat you.
Is he already, in your opinion? Because there a lot of people have been mouth breathing about this. Is he already the greatest quarterback of all time for specifically what you just said? Because you don't have the collection of wide receivers. Because I thought that was always Brady's. Brady, when he first started out with his first Super Bowls, who did he have? Troy Brown.
Yeah.
Who else did he have? Well, he had Randy Moss in there, but
he had a damn good defense the first couple Super Bowls he won.
Sure.
He
didn't have it. David Patton. I mean,
but Brady, you know what Brady did on those Super Bowls? Clutch. He was clutch. He had 4th-quarter drives that won those games.
Right.
So that's what it didn't have big numbers, but he made the plays when he needed to make them, and that's what wins champiomships. In the end, there's a lot of games that Pat Mahomes has thrown for 250 yards and 1 touchdown, but he made the big runs and the game-winning plays. He makes game-winning plays. Mm-hmm. Most of these games come down to end of halves, end of game, third down, red zone. And these guys are the best at all of that stuff, the great ones, Yeah. So it's a special quality they have. And I will say right now, I will make, I'm not going to sit on the fence. Is he the greatest of all time? By the time he's done, he will be. He will. If he doesn't get 7, he's damn well going to get 5 or 6.
I think
he's already at 3 and he's 28 years old. Mm-hmm. Is he going to win 2 more? Probably. 3 more? Yeah. If I had to say, I would say the over-under for me on Holmes and Super Bowls is 5.5. And if he, and it's not only just the Super Bowls you get to. I mean, you win. How many is he going to get to? I mean, it's impressive that Brady went to 10 Super Bowls
with Belichick.
Yeah, won 7. Well, no, it's a 9 with Belichick. Won 6.
Belichick, right?
7 and 10 total, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
that's a lot. So he's got a lot. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's got time to do it, and he's the best. And you know what else happens with Mahomes? He never takes a shot. He never takes a good shot from anybody, even when he's running downfield. I don't know why guys don't light him up, but he just never seems to get hit, even when he's running down the middle of the field.
He's all about situational football. Get down.
He knows how to get down. No, he knows.
And when you're at that 4th down, he's going to take off.
Yeah.
You don't account for him, but he's going to have the
and
ball.
He's faster than you think.
Yes.
And that 19-yard run, he had some giddy up. And
I'll tell you another thing. Everybody continues to put down that Super Bowl for the Bucs because it's COVID. That Super Bowl win, to me, and the pantheon of everything else in Bucs history and Super Bowl history, could be one of the greatest Super Bowl wins because they shut down that team. There's been no other team that's been able to do that defensively. They completely shut down Mahomes. They shut down
better and better.
It keeps on looking better and better. And those
better and better every day. Absolutely.
Yeah. Which again, who's worse? San Francisco, and I know we got to run here. I love talking sports here on the JP Peterson Show. Who is worse?
Somebody needs to go out.
Well, he does need to go out. Kyle Shanahan and his decision on not going with Brady, or is it John Gruden with going with Derek Carr over Tom Brady and having Gronkowski in the fold with that deal done with Dana?
A lot of those people, those guys thought that Brady was done. I guess they're not the geniuses people thought they were.
Yes, they're not. There you go.
Guess they don't know everything. All right. Great job. Yours needs to go out. What about Tally?
Talon
Where's
needs
your
to
ball?
go out. Yeah.
Where's your
Talon.
ball? Look at that head. Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's the ball? Where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's the ball? Where's the ball? All right. I got my work. All right. Time for a walk.
Yep.
All right. Great job, Peter. Appreciate you, Coach Z. Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget to jump on board the podcast. If you missed anything, subscribe to Apple and Spotify, our podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can always watch it again on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube as well. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.